This morning, Catholics around the world are processing a stunning report out of Pennsylvania detailing horrific sexual abuses of children by hundreds of priests across the state of Pennsylvania. State Attorney General Josh Shapiro led the 2-year-long investigation and spoke very bluntly about the church's efforts to repeatedly cover up these crimes.
Church officials routinely and purposefully described the abuse as horseplay and wrestling and inappropriate contact. It was none of those things. It was child sexual abuse, including rape, committed by grown men, priests, against children.
The stories of abuse by men who are given the highest level of trust are grotesque. Those entrusted to minister to their communities used gold crosses, necklaces, symbols of their faith to mark their victims, making them easier to target. A child was stripped naked and forced to stand on a bed and pose as Christ on the cross. One priest confessed to raping at least 15 boys, some as young as 7 years old. Another abused 5 sisters from the same family.
And please pay attention. The numbers we are about to go through are both stunning and disturbing. More than 1,000 children were abused in twisted and sadistic cases of exploitation, some of which included alcohol, whips, and holy water. And the state AG says he believes his office, there are even more. The grand jury report names 301 priests, though some remain redacted, but the scope of the abuse is staggering. It's staggering because you only get numbers this big if there are systematic cover-ups going on year after year, and it's not like this is a new story.
Year after year is right. This report covers allegations over more than 70 years, starting in the 1940s across the state. Church officials allegedly helped cover up the disgusting abuse by moving priests, even giving one who left the church a job reference to work at Disney World. And to put those 301 abusers in perspective, there are only 982 parishes in Pennsylvania, and priests regularly move around during their careers, giving these abusers the chance to victimize children statewide for decades.
This problem touched every single diocese in the state, and it reaches far beyond Pennsylvania, something all 1.2 billion Catholics across the planet will have to reckon with. The state attorney general presented a video giving the survivors an opportunity to share their stories in their own words. Here's a bit of that video.
I grew up in a small western Pennsylvania town, Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
I grew up in Bethlehem.
Anhalt, which is like right behind Steel High School, Steelton area.
I was groomed starting young.
The day I met him, I was around 18 months old.
They targeted me because I was fatherless.
We were taught, I mean, the priests and the nuns are God.
Just think, like, the word God makes me think of him, and I just...
Who would have believed me? A priest in 1948 or 47 would abuse you? A dude. Never heard of such a thing because they covered it up.
It doesn't ever go away. It has an effect on you for the rest of your life.
And I'm a survivor.
It's very lonely. Especially when it's your word against God's.
Wow, your word against God's.
They covered it up year after year. Joining us now, one of the survivors that you saw in that video, Sean Doherty, and Mitchell Garabedian, an attorney representing 6 survivors directly involved in this report. He's represented those abused by priests for more than 20 years. Mitchell, thank you for your work. Sean, thank you for your story. You said that sharing this story was one of the proudest things you have ever done in your life. Tell us why, and what has the last 24 hours been like for you?
It's been absolutely relieving for the last 24 hours. I've had this weight lifted off my shoulder since I joined the military in 1991 and swore an oath. You know, I've been trying to talk about this since then. I feel Yesterday, I had the opportunity to fulfill my oath. I'm thrilled that since I came out publicly, the people that I'm connected to now, the stories that we're sharing, the people that are reaching out to me from literally around the world, this helps us all immensely. We have all been alone for so long, and now we are all connected through our stories, through this grand jury, and now through social media. And we are now, instead of fighting this on our own, we are trying to tackle it together.
Mitchell, you know, some of the offenses detailed have happened in the last 10 years. I'm kind of fascinated by that because I have heard this story and have been covering it for decades. Why, when this first came out, did this not stop? Did the church not take stronger actions? Why are we still talking about this? We now know it's been going on for 70+ years, and this horrific story is just about the state of Pennsylvania.
It's criminality. Criminality through and through. You're dealing with an international criminal enterprise. For centuries, and I have clients who were abused 80 years ago. They were sexually abused by priests. The criminal acts were clear. The supervisors allowed it to happen. Those were criminal acts and allowing it to happen. And it's continuing. You have the most prestigious, powerful, influential institution in the world, the Catholic Church, allowing the wholesale sexual abuse of children. Supervisors turn their backs on innocent children. Pedophile priests sexually abused innocent children. And the Vatican knew about it. Cardinals knew about it. Cardinal McCarrick himself is a sexual abuser. Monsignors knew about it. Supervisors knew about it. If the Catholic Church has a problem with money, they'll call the police to determine who's stealing money from the church. But if they have a problem with sexual abuse of children, they keep it quiet. And that's how it's been kept, quiet. Secrecy is the common thread here.
Sean,